This is Joy News, and we are starting the pause early than the usual time because we've got a breaking news this afternoon. Now, in Parliament today, the minority MPs, they've staged a walkout demanding a variation of the bill condition and the immediate release of the Ashanti Regional Chairman, Bernard Mchibu, also known as Chairman Wontumi, as they vow to boycott all parliamentary proceedings until their demands are met. Now, Chairman Wontumi was granted a 50 million cedi bail last night with two sureties to be justified after his arrest and interrogation since Tuesday. However, he had to spend the night in custody of the Economic and Organized Crime Office because he was unable to meet some aspect of the bail condition. As we speak, he is still being held there. Now, there was drama in Parliament this afternoon as the minority MPs demanded an immediate variation of the bail condition. They are currently staging a solidarity walk to the EOCO headquarters in Accra, and our parliamentary correspondent, Kwaku Asante, is on the grounds with them. We will bring Kwaku on shortly once we have him. Also at the office of EOCO is my colleague James Aveji, who is also standing by. So what you are seeing are minority MPs walking from Parliament to the EOCO office. Let me cross over now as my colleague Kwaku Asante walks with them.
Charlie.
So, as you can see some few minutes ago, the minority MPs on their way to the office of EOCO, they are walking all the way from Parliament House to EOCO. They are demanding, among others, that EOCO varies the bail condition that has been imposed of Chairman Wontumi. Kwaku Asante is working with them.
They are not going to participate in any proceedings of Parliament. It is for this reason that they have left proceedings, currently chanting the songs of the New Patriotic Party as they walk towards the EOCO. And so Alexander Afenyo-Markin himself leading proceedings together with the minority chief whip Frank Anodompre. We also have in the midst Henry Nanabuache, the national organizer of the New Patriotic Party. And so they say that until the Economic and Organized Crime Office actually varies the bail conditions of the Ashanti Regional Chairman of the New Patriotic Party, they will not be part of any proceedings of Parliament. And so they are continuing in their stance, now holding hands together to ensure that this particular matter actually reaches the specifics of what they want to do.
Country, the nation demands your devotion. Let us all unite and make a great move. We are
The walk started right from Parliament and is currently going to go up until the Economic and Organized Crime Office, where they are until the chairman of the party is actually released on bail by the Economic and Organized Crime Office. And that is what they've said. And they are going to do that and ensure that Chairman Wontumi is actually granted bail. And that is what is currently happening with the walk towards the Economic and Organized Crime Office. We've just passed where the Fortune House, where this is happening, and a lot of these matters having to be discussed and all that. I will try and see if I can speak to some MPs on this matter as we walk towards the Economic and Organized Crime Office. I have a deputy whip here. We are live on JoyNews. This is a very serious stance that you've taken, that you are not going to participate in proceedings until Chairman Wontumi is released. You heard the first deputy speaker who said you can go to court. What do you say to that?
There are several ways of killing a cat. Is that not the case? We are mounting pressure on each and everyone who has decided to blatantly disregard the rule of law, to disregard due process, to ensure that we get our chairman out. We are not against accountability. What we are against is the breaches. How do you keep someone under custody for more than 48 hours without allowing the person to go through due process? Why would we want to do this? Why is it persecution or prosecution? What is it that we are looking for as a unit, as Ghana? Are we thinking of proper governance, or we are just thinking of going after people? The disregard for Article 14, the disregard for Article 296, it's just worrisome, and we need to step up now. And that is why we have decided to walk from the chamber to EOCO, and we are not going to be part of the processes or proceedings until Chairman Wontumi is released.
Thank you very much. That is the Deputy Whip of the minority side making the case for his side. They continue to insist that they will not participate in any proceedings of Parliament until Chairman Wontumi is actually released. Let me speak to Honourable Collins Adumako. Collins, you are a member of Parliament, and you heard the Deputy Speaker say that if you have any grievances, you can go to court. Why don't you go to court to get the court to vary the bail conditions?
What we are doing is also part of the democratic process. The Speaker, the Deputy Speaker himself, on several occasions has been part of demonstrations. It's nothing new. We are not against criminal investigations. We are against the processes that is being applied now, where people, very, very, very huge bail conditions being set for people. This is absolutely not part of our democracy. This is an affront to our democracy, and we think it's important that we do this march, go to EOCO, and send a strong signal that we are against the kind of processes they are trying to apply.
Thank you very much, Collins Adumako Befi, also there, echoing the sentiment of the New Patriotic Party MPs on this matter, to insist that until Chairman Wontumi is actually granted bail, a self-recognizance bail of a sort, by the Economic and Organized Crime Office, they are not going to participate in any proceedings of Parliament. And as they get here, a lot more party supporters who have already come in here are actually now also joining them to sort of share their grievances together, and also to make the point clear that for them in the New Patriotic Party, this is what they think will actually lead to the country's democracy being deepened. And they don't see that the specifics of the NDC administration actually arresting people and giving them hefty bail conditions will lead to any real issues when it comes to that. So we are just about reaching the Economic and Organized Crime Office, EOCO, where this protest march sort of is going to end up, and ultimately when it does, we will get to see what exactly the message is going to be. What are they going to do? What are they going to say? What are they going to tell the officials of EOCO and other security officials who are just stationed around the Economic and Organized Crime Office? Will this force the hands of government to perhaps revise the bail condition of Chairman Wontumi, or will this not do anything? We will get to see very shortly when these matters are actually, when the team actually gets here. And so it's been a walk right from Parliament. Proceedings have now been halted. Proceedings have been adjourned. The minority leader came on the floor and did talk about making an urgent statement on this matter to try and see if it will ultimately lead to any results on this matter. We have arrived at the Economic and Organized Crime Office, where we understand Chairman Wontumi may still be held by the EOCO officials because he has still not met his 50 million cedis bail condition, and they are walking straight directly to the barricades where all this is expected to unfold.
The nation demands your devotion. Let us all unite to uphold and this ambition. We are vote. We are all involved. We are all. Can you stop here, please?
We're live here at the office of the Economic and Organized Crime Office, EOCO, where Chairman Wontumi, having been arrested for some days now by EOCO to assist in investigation on a number of issues, has been granted a bail to the tune of 50 million Ghana cedis with two persons, two sureties, I should say, to be justified. He has not been able to meet that bail condition since it was granted. That has meant that he has not been released. And so the members of parliament now taking over a section of the road to try and create a situation here. And so the road that leads right from Accra up until this point have been blocked by the group of members of parliament who are making the point about why they believe Chairman Wontumi ought to be released by the Economic and Organized Crime Office. Honorable Quality, if you can give me a small so that these matters can all now truly be dealt with. You hear the minority, you see the minority leader together with his team and persons who have just come in from Parliament of Ghana to make this point here at the Economic and Organized Crime Office, that until Chairman Wontumi is released and the bail conditions vary to a point where he can do it, they are not going to allow any person so a little bit of inconvenience will be caused here today to sort of drum home the demand that these issues are to be dealt with. And so we will pretty shortly, I'm sure, hear from the leadership of the minority on this matter and get to hear what exactly the message will be with the bail conditions now being said to be the key issue of this of conversation on this matter. And so a lot more members of parliament here. You see the former education minister himself is here. The former deputy minister for defense is here. The minority whip is here. Afenyo-Markin himself leading the chanting of new patriotic party songs on this matter. For those of you just joining our rolling coverage right here on Joy News, the minority in Parliament have staged a walkout from Parliament to solidarize with the NPP Ashanti Regional Chairman Bernard Nchibo-Siako, who has been arrested and has been in detention at EOCO for some days now. He has been granted bail to the tune of 50 million Ghana cedi. He has not been able to meet the bail conditions, and so he is currently in detention. We understand he has not been well for some time now and has actually been to 37 Military Hospital. Today, the minority leader did say on the floor that he had been sent to the NIB clinic here in Accra, where he has been treated for some time. And so we will get to hear shortly from the leadership what exactly is the update on this matter and what will be the end game of this matter because of the point that they are making on this point. And do they expect that this will ultimately lead to any political pressure on the government, which will ultimately lead to the release of the Member of Parliament, the Ashanti Regional Chairman, I should say.
For your
another angle, you see the security arrangement. The police have strengthened their barricade in front of the EOCO head office, preventing members of the public from getting access to the main entrance of the EOCO building. You see some police officers standing by their patrol vehicles there, some other members of the general public leaning by the barricades there, also observing what is currently ongoing here at the EOCO office. Currently, the police have beefed up security. You see some of them standing right behind the barricades. Anytime you get closer to the barricades, they wave you off not to proceed any further. So those you see leaning on the barricades there are members of the general public. Traffic is building up. I've just noticed that they have diverted the traffic coming from the Accra Metropolitan Assembly area towards the Atamels High Street, the Kwame Nkrumah Mausoleum. They have diverted the traffic towards this place. And so what is supposed to be a one lane now is a double lane with oncoming vehicles as well as those going towards the Central Business District, all on the same lane here in front of the EOCO headquarters. You see a number of the MP's vehicles parked on the shoulder of the road. As we speak, no vehicle is going or coming as we speak. And so traffic is building up on this road now as we speak due to the activities that are ongoing here. The minority caucus in Parliament are here to register their grievances with what is ongoing. And so traffic has built up. We're waiting to get some signal from the EOCO officials on what the next line of action would be here at the EOCO headquarters. And so this is the situation. Traffic situation is worse on the road. For cars coming from the Kwame Nkrumah Mausoleum area going to the Central Business District are all parked in traffic, while others who are moving from the Central Business District are going towards the Kwame Nkrumah Mausoleum, are also in huge traffic here at the EOCO headquarters. I would want to try and see if I can speak to a few drivers to pick their thought on what is happening. Boss, good afternoon. Just want to have a word with you.
Owes 50 million cedis with two sureties to be justified, and you have problems with that, go to court and get it varied. You can go to the High Court. There are those who ask, what will this solidarity march do to Chairman Wontumi, who is currently in detention?
Yeah, so primarily, as we have indicated, the EOCO has a right to give the person a bail. But the bail conditions, as we have indicated, is outrageous. It doesn't accord to any level of reasonability. So first and foremost, it is important to draw the public's attention to it, that the country that we are building, it is not a country for one against the other. It is a country that is looking forward to building institutions of strength. What we are seeing today from EOCO, it's as if they are doing political persecution, and that is wrong for the democracy we are building. If you want to give someone a bail, why would you impose a bail of 50 million Ghana cedi when the person is yet to undergo investigations? So yes, Wontumi would go to court. He has to be presented before a court of competent jurisdiction. Almost 48 hours down the line, nobody is giving us any indication as to why he is still being kept in detention. The man is a man of substance. He's not someone who is jumping bail. He's not someone who is running away from this country. His health condition has been established as ailing. So why are we still keeping him there? It doesn't accord to reasonability. And I think Ghanaians should understand where we are coming from. Being in opposition or minority doesn't mean it is Wontumi we are fighting only for. We are fighting for the cause of Ghana. And any Ghanaian whose right is impugned, we will make sure we fight for the cause.
Thank you very much. That is a member of Parliament for Afia who has been talking to us about what the real issues for them are. Honorable K.T. Hammond has joined the team here pretty moments ago, and he's leading a charge here together with the minority leader. I don't know what exactly his involvement is in this matter, but you see Honorable Katie among there in a tete-a-tete with the minority leader to try and get some understanding. Honorable Kojo Ponkrumah, we are live on Joy News. Let me pick your word on this. What do you say to the First Deputy Speaker who says that when a bail condition has been imposed by another body, you can go to court and get it varied?
First of all, we all understand what is going on is not law, it's politics. And people need to get that at the back of their mind. The government is seeking to use the legal processes to achieve political ends. This is a man who is already cooperating with CID investigations. He's been granted bail, he comes and he goes. I think that was his third day. Then on his way home, you will now find another state organization come to arrest him. This is on the back of the earlier intended arrest in Kumasi, come to arrest him in a Rambo-style swoop. The journalists who were there are reporting that he was even assaulted there. I'm sure you've seen some of those. And now you impose this kind of bail conditions, pecuniary, just so that he will struggle to meet it, and then you can keep him behind bars. This is politics. It's not law, it's politics. And that is why we have to draw the attention to it, that this is unacceptable. They are using the coercive power of the state in an attempt to intimidate political opponents. And that is what we need to draw the attention to, the fact that where our democracy is, we don't do that anymore.
Thank you very much. Kojo Ponkrumah there, re-echoing the stance that has been taken by his side, that this is simply the government trying to use the coercive power of the state to try and keep the member of the Ashanti Regional Chairman behind bars for some time now. Let me try and see if I can speak to the former Minister for Education on this matter. Okay, nobody will not want to say a word for now. Right, definitely. And so they're continuing the chanting of political party songs, national patriotic songs, to try and drum home their demand that Chairman Wontumi has simply become a victim of politics, and that this is not the government that has anything real or anything tangible on him, for which reason they need him released. And so the whips are trying to do that. Let me talk to Nana Jebafuewo, is a lawyer on this matter. The point the First Deputy Speaker made on the floor is that if you are not satisfied with the bail conditions, you can go to the High Court and get it varied. And I'm certain that after so many years of you in practice, you've done that so many times. Why is that difficult, and why are you not willing to do that?
Very respectfully, we appreciate that point. That is not to say that it has not been explored. However, you also acknowledge that under the laws of Ghana, we also have a right to protest. In fact, there's a right of protest, the right to protest under the Constitution. And that right is what we are exploring, in addition to whatever other avenues we'll be exploring, which in this case is to say that it's inappropriate for state agencies to use the power given to them by the Republic to intimidate people, to place on them onerous bail conditions. I think it's important that we also do this, because, you know, it might be Wontumi today, we don't know who it might be tomorrow. And so sending a clear signal for the whole Ghana to see that this is inappropriate and to draw their attention to it, I think it is also, I don't think it spoils anything. Don't forget they have their lawyers. Don't forget it's a security agency. Don't forget they know that this is the position of the law, but they have done it, right? And so it will not take just the court, but also protests of this nature, which is what we are exploring.
Thank you very much, Nana Jeba, for explaining to me what their legal point is. So far, the member of parliament on the New Patriotic Party that I've spoken to, and a lot of them lawyers, last three that I've spoken to them are all lawyers. They say that they do recognize that they can go to the High Court for a revision of the bail conditions, and if the High Court is so minded, will revise it. The last time something of this sort happened was the former NIB boss, when he was arrested, they did go to the High Court, the bail conditions were revised. But they believe that this is a political process which the government is trying to actually use the coercive powers of the state to actually punish their political opponents for this reason, and that is why they are making that case, and they are going to insist that Chairman Wontumi ought to be released from EOCO custody, because this is a political process, and they are going to use the political process to vindicate the rights of Chairman Wontumi, who has been under arrest for at least the last 48 hours now. He was arrested 2 days ago when he went to the Ghana Police Service headquarters, where he had been invited a day earlier. He had been spoken to, given he has been cautioned and he had been asked to go and return the next day. He did come the next day, did meet the police. And just when he was about to leave at the car parks of the Ghana Police Service, the officers of EOCO did then come in, swooped in on him and took him to this facility. He was questioned deep into the night, 48 hours to go up on Tuesday, deep into the night, where we were told that he had been unwell, he had fallen sick. He was taken to the hospital, and then he was brought back. EOCO has now imposed the bail condition of 50 million Ghana cedis with 2 sureties to be justified. And that bail condition, the minority say, is too stringent, and that is why Chairman Wontumi has not met the bail conditions and is still in custody of EOCO. As of now, we cannot even tell if Chairman Wontumi is still at EOCO or whether or not he has actually been released. No, not actually released. Whether he has been taken to the hospital where we know he has been sick. Let's listen in to Nana B, who is speaking on this matter.
Now, what they are telling us is that Wontumi is not here. We have asked of his whereabouts, and they are unable to confirm. We've asked of the director. We have been told that the Director General is not here. That is Jomondacha. His deputies are not here. Look, we demand that there should be fairness in all of this. Fairness in all of this. You invited Wontumi on Monday. He came to the police CID. After interrogation, he was granted bail. You told him to report the following day. And just when he was exiting, he was ambushed and he was picked up. I would say it's a kidnap. Now, we don't even know his whereabouts. We are here. The entire minority caucus walked from Parliament, and then somebody here says that, oh, Wontumi is not here. This is most unfortunate. Is this a certain political show of bravado? We are a nation of rules, laws. What is happening here? And I keep saying, President Mahama, what is happening here? President Mahama, what is happening in this country?
They say rule of law.
This is no rule of law. This is a rule of a certain person, a certain man, somebody somewhere, wanting to show that, yes, we have power. Yes, we are in charge. He was picked up on Tuesday. As we speak, it is 48 hours. And they are telling us that they don't know his whereabouts.
He's going to court an option to you are a legal practitioner. He's going to court an option.
Oh, of course, it's part of the options. Of course, it's part. And I know that his lawyers are preparing something. But then what we are saying is that we demand to speak to the leadership. They need to update us what is happening. It is 48 hours after his arrest. What is happening? That is why the entire minority caucus, they walked all the way from Parliament to this place. The party
that is Henry Nanabuache venting the spleen of the New Patriotic Party on this matter. You see the minority chief whip in some conversations with police officers who are stationed here. I do not have an understanding of what exactly the conversation is about, whether or not the police do consider this a special event under the Public Order Act, for which reason they would have required the minorities to have given them notice before they would do so. And so the minority leader, we understand, may be given some space to go in there, but we will try and see what exactly will be happening here. And so the minority leadership trying to have a word with the Ghana Police Service, who are here to try and get an understanding of what will be happening here. This is the NPP in Parliament who insists that what is going on with Chairman Wontumi is not. Let me try and see if I can tap in some of this.
The man is sick in their custody, and we believe that he will not run away. If you say you should bring properties, landed properties worth 50 million cedis, when the man is a public figure and he walked to your premises, that you fear he will run away, where would Wontumi run to? So all we're saying is that they should vary the bail condition. Let the man seek medical treatment, and that's all. We only want audience, and we raise it in Parliament, and that is what we want to raise with him, very peacefully. Yes, thank you very much, sir. Well, we are making that arrangement through you, because from Parliament we came here. So far, nobody has made himself available. Yes, that's what I'm talking to. Yes, please. Grateful. Yes, sir.
Thank you.
A leader of a police team.
Arise, Ghana, you for your cause.
The minority leader has just had a conversation with some police officers who have been stationed here, where he has clearly communicated the stance of the caucus on this matter. He has repeated the statements he made in Parliament that their point is that 50 million Ghana cedis is too much for bail conditions, and that is why they've come in here and have asked that that bail condition be revised, and then ultimately he must be released so that he can seek medical attention. You listened in there to the minority leader who did have that interaction with a senior police officer. I do not know what his designation is here. The police officer did ask if arrangement had been made prior to them coming here to meet the leadership of EOCO, Raymond Archer, who is the executive director, and other officials. And so the police officer has now gone back in to try and get some understanding of what the leadership of EOCO will be doing on this matter. Will they come out and meet the minority leadership? Will they invite the minority leadership to go in? Or what exactly will be the strategy for EOCO on this matter? And so that we are looking forward to seeing what exactly the decision is going to be. But the minority leader who led the delegation here, officially now speaking to the Ghana Police Service, who are stationed right at the entrance of EOCO, and making the point about the specifics of the claim that they have against the Economic and Organized Crime Office, which is the body that has detained the member of the New Patriotic Party, who is also the chairman of the New Patriotic Party in the Ashanti region on this matter. The New Patriotic Party will continue to insist that Chairman Wontumi is being detained unfairly, and that the 50 million cedi bail condition that has been imposed is simply not something that is constitutional or democratic. That is why they want that bail condition to be varied, so that Chairman Wontumi can easily meet it and then go out there and go and seek medical care, because we understand in the last 48 hours plus that he has been in detention. He has fallen ill on a couple of times and has actually been taken to the hospital. And so that is the crux of what they are demanding. I hear a lot of sirens, a lot of police reinforcement, and the police trying to redirect the traffic from here. Cassie, let's go and gauge the situation with the traffic, because a couple of things have been done. There's been police reinforcement, as you can see. You see this vehicle, this big police vehicle, FPU vehicle. When we came here a little over 30 minutes ago, this police vehicle was not here, but that police vehicle has been here. A couple of police vehicles have also now joined in to try and offer some reinforcement to the security situation here. We do know what happened here on Tuesday evening when party supporters thronged here to make the demand that Chairman Wontumi ought to be released. It did lead to a lot of altercations here and there, with even some supporters of the New Patriotic Party assaulting a JoyNews journalist who was covering the event at the day. That appears not to be the situation here, with the Ghana Police Service and EOCO having beefed up security here. There's a very tight barricade right at the entrance of Economic and Organized Crime Office. No one is allowed to go over that barricade. It's a very strong reinforcement that no one is allowed to go over. The minority, since they've been here, have not been able to go over there. In the last 5 minutes, you saw here, right here on JoyNews, the leadership of the New Patriotic Party in Parliament, Afenyo-Markin himself, leading that engagement with the Ghana Police Service to drum home the demand and why exactly they are here, the demand they are making. And so that has been done. The police officer has gone back into the building. The expectation is that he will relay that message to leadership of EOCO, led by Raymond Archer. What exactly the decisions will be, we do not know. But this is a road that ordinarily leads to the John Evans Atamels High Street, to the Kwame Nkrumah Memorial Park, to the Supreme Court area. It's a two-lane. It has been blocked completely, with traffic having been diverted on the other side of the road, the oncoming vehicles. So for those coming from the Kwame Nkrumah Memorial Park area up onto Kantamanto, they have to share that road together with those who are now going up there, because this road has been taken over by the minority who are protesting the continuous detention of the minority leader. But there's been reinforcement security here. It's caused a little bit of traffic, but because of last 2 weeks decongestion of Accra, it's quite open, because on a Thursday like this place would have been a little bit choked, but the place is a bit open, and the traffic has been diverted onto the oncoming. Some of them move, and the others continue to try and get the traffic moving. And that is the situation here at the EOCO office, where no official has as of yet come out to engage with the minority leadership, except some police officer who did indicate that he wanted to know if the minority had made arrangements to actually see the executive director of EOCO and what their aim is. I just heard from some police officers talking about how this may be a special event, and so they would have expected that a minority would have actually come in here with some responses from the Public Order Act that would have given them the permission to be here to do that. A couple of them still stationed right in the middle of the road, singing patriotic songs and demanding that Chairman Wontumi is released from EOCO custody.
And help us to resist and forevermore. And help us to resist oppression with all our will and might forevermore. And help us to resist oppression with all our will and might forevermore. And
help us to resist oppression. That is the songs that are being chanted currently. You see the former information minister Kojo Ponkroma in the midst, chanting himself.
Make our nation great and strong, go to defend forever the cause of freedom and of right. Fill our hearts with true humility, we can cherish fearless honesty, and help us to resist oppressors with all our will and might forevermore. And help us to resist oppressors with all our will and might forevermore. And help us to resist oppressors with all our will and might forevermore.
Let me speak to Honorable Kwame Anyimedu Entry, who are just coming in. Honorable Kwame Anyimedu Entry, if I can speak to you briefly on JoyNews, we are live. When this matter was raised on the floor, your former ranking member, who is now First Deputy Speaker, did say that when bail conditions are imposed by the police, EOCO, or any other body for that matter, the accused person is at liberty to actually go to the High Court to get those bail conditions revised. Yeah, if EOCO has made this assessment and believe that 50 million cedi bail condition is what is needed in this matter.
Let me ask you, is that reasonable for an investigative body to insist that I need a property worth 50 million before I can grant him bail? Have you finished with the investigation? What's the purpose of asking for that money? That's why we are here, because the bail condition is unreasonable. It's so unreasonable.
And you are at liberty to challenge that in the High Court?
No, it's not. We as citizens, we have the right. We can also protest to what, and that's exactly what we are doing. I got an information that they whipped him from this place when they had earlier on told us that he was not here. So at least the protest is working, and we want it to work. Wontumi is not running anywhere. If anything, they can say that in addition to an amount or even a property, if you say 50 million worth of property, I'm going to ask the person that is saying that has that amount of money or that property. You can even seize his passport if you want to. You have already freeze his accounts. If you get his passport, where is he going to? What you have to make sure is that the person would have to stay in the country and go through their trial and not run away. That is all. As an investigative body, that is all they have to do, nothing more. So it's unreasonable, for them to say 50 million. Well, it's a clear indication that they don't want to grant him the bail.
Thank you very much. Honorable Kwame Anyimedu Entry there saying the 50 million cedi bail condition that has been set by EOCO on this matter is unreasonable. And it points to the fact that EOCO may have some sinister plot to actually keep the MPP regional chairman behind custody for some longer time. And it's unreasonable. They say they have multiple points, multiple constitutional rights. They can go to the High Court. They can do a protest, which he says is working as we speak, because
Right, so we are coming to you live from the EOCO head office where the MPP minority, they've taken a position there demanding that they are given access to the MPP Ashanti Regional Chairman Bernard Nchibu, also known as Chairman Wontumi. Remember that he was picked up by EOCO on Tuesday at the premises of the CID and he's been held there. He's been charged for causing financial loss to the state. He was admitted to a bail. Now, let me take you back to the place and listen to the minority leader before we bring in my colleague James Aveji.
Headquarters. In a Rambo style, he's arrested. You interrogate him, he makes himself available. Your next thing is that go and bring title property worth 50 million cedis. What kind of country are we in? Have they looked at the constitution? They should vary the bail term. The man is unwell. He's in their custody. They know. So they should vary. Wontumi will not run anywhere. And I'm telling our friends in the NDC, 4 years will soon come. And if they think what they are doing is right, they should watch it. They should watch it. Treat others the way you expect them to do unto you.
Are you?
Treat others the way you expect them to treat you.
Are you?
So if you keep Wontumi, is he using bail to punish him? We are here, we are protesting. We are here protesting. We expect him to do the right thing. What has Wontumi done? Why are they? If you come out in a buy, or buy and when Janio or police headquarters. Bonnie be almost a wayano. Moody H. Marco China Bay, Yoko Afenyo-Markin, a Japadia, worth 50 million cities, offer title document in Bransa. Obiba knows what the document will say. Yakoshu Mansa. Nippon as I said, Okononiho, unnecessary frustration. What kind of country are we in? No. They should use their time to govern, not to oppress opponents. That's all I want to say.
So a lot unfolding at the office of EOCO. My colleague James Aveji is also there. Let me cross over to James as to find out whether officials of EOCO are making themselves available to speak to the minority side from Parliament. James, what can you report from where you are?
Well, Elton, so far from where the angle I am, I haven't seen any official from the EOCO coming out or making themselves ready to hear from the minority anytime soon. You see in your shots there a few of the staff who are gleaning from the windows of the EOCO building, looking down on the public to see what exactly is happening. Quite a number of them. I mean, the tension is calm here on the street, and so earlier you had about 6, 7, or 8 of them gleaning from the windows there onto the street to also catch a view of what exactly is happening. Here is the inner circle of the EOCO entrance behind the barricade of the EOCO building, where you see the police pickup stationed there with a police officer. There was also a masked officer who was standing right at the entrance, also watching on what is happening. A number of the officers are also behind the barricade trying to monitor things from here. And so this is the situation here. For now, we cannot confirm if any EOCO official is readying themselves to hear from the minority, and it is also unclear how long the minority will be here to try and get some response from the EOCO. But as we have it now, members of the general public are also here, also looking on. A number of drivers have trooped in from the Tema station itself, pitch camping on the shoulders of the road, also looking on what is happening. And so this is the situation here. Beyond the minority, members of the public are all around, also looking in on what is happening. I will try and see if I can speak to a few of them across the road. You see them in the median there. A number of them having conversations among themselves as to what exactly is happening. Also looking on to know what is happening. Let me get closer to a few of them and see if I can speak to them to know what exactly they think about what is happening. Boss, good afternoon. You are on JoyNews. What have you also come here to do?
I don't came here to observe things. And this was making a blind argument because they've given a person, according to his lawyer, they've given him bail. I heard from the news. Kubi said they've granted the person bail, but they need a document they will sign. So if they also MPs are here, someone should do two surety, 50 billion. Bring the document, make the
50 million.
50 million. Bring the document. So now all the produce document for them to release the person. See, they couldn't bring the document. I am making another signals. What's the meaning of that? They bring the document, make them release the person. Yes. You couldn't bring the document. You are making noise. It doesn't make the sense. There's no sense in it.
Which means that you don't agree with what is happening.
Agree with them. They just bring the document. They release the person. They get the person paid. Bring the document. Make them say leave the person. You couldn't bring the document. And you are making all this on the news.
Some of your colleagues seems to disagree with you.
The person doing that, he doesn't hear news. The person who disagrees doesn't hear news. He doesn't know anything. But if you got the news, social media, if he is all lawyer, Abdiakubi, who said they've granted him bail. You understand? Abdiakubi, lawyer, who is with him, said they've granted him bail. That's the document. And this morning, they were questioning in Aduma FM. And he was saying the diary. And he was saying, they've granted him bail. But let the document, so this morning, they will fast track the document so they can release the person. And you could put it all the MP. They could not put the document to release the person. You are here catching nuisance on the public. What's the meaning of
that? Out in a typical roadside conversation between them. A typical roadside conversation happening here among the ordinary citizens who are listening to what is happening and also pouring out their observation or what they think about this on the issue happening. Boss, are you also one of them who disagree with what?
No, I will not talk. I will not talk yet.
I see. But you are just observing what
I don't want any problem.
Thank you. Thank you. Uncle, what's the problem? You agree that what is happening here?
On them, when in Ghana, past 8 years, Yakonkwasumu 8 years, past 8 years, Yatunkwasumu 8 years. Inti nyamu yanbodi chatuchikata yanchino. Onya so dem yachino. Vita Salome. Negasi monechi ni yachino. Na Wontumi oche chatuchikata. Oche Vita Salome. Masa mrano da baby ada the tour. What to me ada.
Chikatano no a board way or GMPC. And Oji Ghana Sika, Yasha de Wontumi Dada. Oji Ghana Sika, so my oil. Meboa. And that really standing you know, my oil. No, he never gave us oil. It was before who was able to discover oil. And Sikana Oji Odi, and that was why Chachikata was jailed. Because he misappropriated Ghana funds. So, as Wontumi be given any government appointment, the last 8 years, did anyone give Wontumi government appointment? Have you had any charge laid against him? I learned when he went to the police station, they said he has entered into forest reserve illegally without evidence. So they've not proven any evidence. 2, he's been brought here. What we are hearing that he took loan. What we are hearing that he took loan. Please, Ibrahim Mama, didn't he take merchant bank loan? Was he able to pay?
So, as far as you are concerned, what is happening here is not just...
This is witch hunting. It's not right. What is not right? This is real witch hunting. You understand me? Because all of us are in Ghana. Wontumi hasn't been given any government appointment. You say he was given a Cocoa Road to construct. He has done the job. And it's been paid. You can't tell me when we voted and there was a government change and there's no handover. Governance shouldn't continue because there is a government change. Until 7th January, before Choma will take over. So if he was paid before the 7th January, is it a crime boss? It's never a crime. So you can also jail that person on that grounds.
But what is happening? They are just investigating the issue to know the fact of it, and that they've given him bail. Now it's just to meet the bail conditions.
A bail of 5 billion Ghana cedi. Is this realistic, boss? Let's be fair to each other. This is critically anti-witty because you are giving someone, what do you call it, a bill to meet up, and you are giving the person 500 billion. Why? Doesn't he have properties here? It's Wontumi, a common person like me, that we can look and find, and you are giving 500 billion bill for it to be met.
50 million cedis. 500
billion old city. Let's go to the old city. Hey, boss, is it fair? It's not fair. Let the truth be told. If you are comparing Chikata and the others they were government appointees. This man is not.
Which Wontumi is not.
He's not.
And so.
The contract was given. They have not told us he didn't do the contract. He did the contract and took his money. And you can't tell me there were plenty of people who were paid during that tenure. Why haven't those people been followed? And you are following only one person.
Okay. By the way, what's your name? I've enjoyed your analysis.
I'm Jeremiah Nabila.
What do you do?
I do delivery.
Delivery?
Yes. Please.
Okay, so your motorbike is around?
Yes, over there.
Okay. But you parked it just to come and look on to see what is happening?
Please, I would prefer if you are showing the video, just take off the...
Okay, that's fine. Thank you. So that's Jeremiah there. Elton, the conversation is degenerating into some bit of scaffold there between some of the youth who's been speaking to us. Is degenerating into some level of scaffold. But as you would expect, everybody has their opinion about what is happening here at the EOCO headquarters. Everybody has their opinion. Oh, I just see there the MPs sitting on the floor as part of the grievances, and the people are moving towards them to see what exactly they are up to. I see there some of the MPs having their seat on the floor as part of the demonstration against what is happening. Those are some of them. The chant is still ongoing as the general public is also having their view of what the situation is and what they think about what is happening here at the EOCO headquarters. So you see a number of the MPs there sitting on the floor. I see there Honorable Yao, Peter.
They are here to call for his release from the custody of EOCO. And I mean, since we came here, we've seen that they've conducted themselves in a very orderly manner. We've seen them engage with the police to find out how best they can go about this issue. And as that is not working, they are using other forms of civil protest to, protest to the government that they are unhappy with what's going on. And so I think this is how we can deepen our processes as a country, where we see people not resort to violence but use lawful means.
We are told is that he is not in the premises. We requested that we wanted to speak to any of the directors here. We are told that the Director General is not here. The deputies too are also not here. So we are here. This is clearly an abuse of power. This is the president, for me, wanting to show, for all these things happen, the president approves of it. This is the government wanting to show some negative political bravado that yes, we are in charge, we are in power, let's hold on to him. For me, it is needless. It is needless. Look, you arrested him on Tuesday. He had earlier reported at the CID premises upon invitation. He is not going anywhere. He is not running anywhere. He is here in this country. He is the Ashanti Regional Chairman of the New Patriotic Party. If you need him to support you in any investigation, he will be available. So where from this show of power that yes.
In the afternoon before you came in, What we heard was that he was taken to the hospital again this morning because of his health. Is he not in the hospital?
No, now he's been granted bail, but the bail conditions are very, very, very.
The 50 million cedis with two sureties to be justified.
It's one loss. I mean, this is very unfair. How can you say that 50 million? How? So what we are saying is that the person is not going to go anywhere. For me, it is a clear strategy for them to put impediment in the way of Chairman Wontumi fulfilling the bail conditions.
Okay.
So let's peg this at a very difficult level so that he's unable to head.
Okay. Thank you. We'll still speak to you, but I see a number of your supporters around. Let me see if I can still pick the thought of a few of them who are still hanging around, looking on at what is happening, hanging on the shoulders of the road. Some motorcyclists would also stop at a point. Chief, let's talk. I mean, I see you also hanging around. What do you know about what's happening? You have any idea what is happening?
No.
You don't know. You're just looking at what's going on. I see. So those are some members of the public there also looking on. You see a number of them hanging on. Come, let's talk. You have any idea what is happening here? So what are you doing here? Okay. But you are also here just looking at the people.
Because last week they shed money. I'm waiting for the money again.
Oh, you are waiting for money?
Last week they shed money.
They shed money? Who shed the money?
One of them. Forgot his name.
One of the executives?
Shed money.
How much did you get?
1,300.
You had 1,300?
300.
So in the last 2 days, but you spent 1,000 already. Let me see. Was it spread and you packed or he spread?
I was one in front of you. Just here.
Okay. Because you were in front of you were able to pack enough. 1,300. You spent 1,000 already. What did you use it for? You are waiting for another opportunity.
What is happening here? It's not part of my business. Because I'm a trucker, I'm not a party. Those things.
You brought us here. You brought us here. You guys doing his job.
Right, so we're still coming to you live from the EOCO head office in Accra, where that place has become a scene of political activity by the minority MPs in Parliament, and they are there demanding to see the Ashanti Regional Chairman of the party, Bernard Ntwibu-Asiakon, who is being held there. Now, information we are picking is that Bernard Ntwibu-Asiakon was taken to the hospital before the MPs arrived at the EOCO head office. His lawyer confirms to her that he's working around the clock to meet the bail condition. But as we speak now, he's still in the custody of EOCO, even though he's receiving treatment at the hospital. The NDC is also observing this matter keenly. Dr. Rashid Tanko is a member of the NDC. He joins me for a brief chat on this. Dr. Tanko, what do you make of what is happening right now at the EOCO office?
My brother, let me say good afternoon to you and your cherished listeners. You see, day in, day out, this MPP group, they are becoming lawless. In fact, they are becoming lawless, and I don't understand. Is it just that they want to undermine the security authorities, agencies that we have in Ghana? I don't know what they are doing. And these are lawmakers, and they should understand this thing. This issue borders on security of the state. A lawful arrest was made. He's been taken through the process. And yet you want to stampede the process. It's unheard of, completely unheard of. What are they talking of? That's why I was happy when your reporter asked them, if they think the bail bond is high, they should go to court. That's why the court is there. They should go to court so that the court can vary the bail bond. But you cannot use lawless means expecting EOCO to vary the bail bond. Who does that? That is complete lawlessness. And we must tell them in their face. What they are doing, it doesn't help anybody. It doesn't help the democracy of this country. And I've been telling them, the hypocrisy of this group is legendary. They just left office about 5 months ago. What haven't we seen in this country under their regime? The same gentleman they are trying to protect another thing. Was they not the same group who were asking Nana Akufo-Addo to call him to order, and they knew that he was not to be called to order because he was the darling boy of Nana Akufo-Addo.
They say that the 50 million is just too high. The bill condition is such that you will not be able to meet it. It is just a ploy by government to keep him there.
What are they talking about? That's why the law courts are there. If the thing is high, they should go to the court. You go on the street to demonstrate and talk about bail bond. Is it now that they don't know that the law is the law? We are not living in an era of the law is the law, and this is the law. It is within the mandate of EOCO to set such a bail bond, because they are looking at bail bonds are normally set based on the crime, the enormity of your crime, alleged crime that you have committed, the quantum of the volume of the alleged crime that you have committed.
Are you aware?
You run away.
Are you aware of the crime committed by Wontumi?
Did they just go in to pick him without any issues? You saw CID. CID is handling one issue about the forest, degradation, that kind of illegal thing that he was doing.
Of course, that we know.
Yes, EOCO also have, their lawyer, his lawyer and their PA could be mentioned it. There was issue of Exim Bank that they saved them someone on all that. Yes, there's issues of this matter. So EOCO knows what they are doing, and they are dealing with financial crimes. And so, if they are dealing with financial crimes, it's within their mandate. Look, this is not the first time officers appear before EOCO. I sitting here, I've ever appeared before EOCO. When we left office in 2016, several of my colleagues, we appeared before EOCO. Nobody hit the street. Nobody went on demonstration because they invited us to EOCO to come and answer questions and other things. Finally, we came out clean. There was no issue after they had wasted our time for 1 week over there and all that. Then we came everywhere. So they should allow the law to work. The law is the law. Nobody is interested in victimizing anybody. This is not a government of a victimization. We are not here to victimize anybody. That is not what His Excellency John Dramani Mahama is doing. He will not. He is not that type. It's not in his DNA to victimize anybody. But the law must work. So because of he's a regional chairman or because he's a political party chairman, therefore the law should not work. What is that? Where are we going? Are we going to descend into abyss? Our former national chairman, how did they handle him? He went through 8 years prosecution under their regime. Did you see us hit the road or go on this Rambo style and be going and disturbing public peace?
So, Tanko, as far as the NDC is concerned, you are unfazed by what is happening?
We are completely unfazed because we want the law to work. That is why you don't see party in putting its hands in this matter. That is why you don't see government officials or party officials putting its hands in this matter. Allow the law agencies to do their work. Nobody is interfering whatever they are doing. And that is why you hardly see the Flagstaff House putting its hands or the party headquarters putting its hands in this matter. The hypocrisy aspect of it is what we are talking about. That is not good enough. It won't help our democracy. What they are doing, it won't help in our democracy. You abandoned why you are voted into office as MPs, and to go and be sitting down to stand in for an alleged crimes committed by your regional chairman, of which you yourself had problems with. Most of them there had problems with him over his handling of this Akunta and other dealings, of which Nana Akufo-Addo could not call him to order. So why are they doing this? What is this?
Dr. Tanko, thank you so much for your time this afternoon. We are so live from the EOCO head office here in Accra. What is happening is that the MPs, they've taken a seat, if you like, in the middle of the main road in front of the EOCO office. And they are demanding, among others, that they are giving access to the Ashanti Regional Chairman of the party, Benedict Siako, also known as Wontumi. Now, what we have picked is that Mr. Wontumi was taken to the hospital before the minority MPs got there. His lawyer tells us that he's working around the clock to meet the bail bond. Now, as it stands now, it is a 50 million Ghana cedis and 2 sureties. We are told that he's met part of it, but yet to meet the other. The other is the 50 million Ghana cedis. Either he presents property which value may, match up to the 50 million Ghana cedis on his head. Now, he's not been able to do so. He was picked on Tuesday. We are already in a 48-hour, mandatory period for them to, Let me cross over to the place. Koko Asante is our parliamentary correspondent. He is with the minority group, and he's speaking to the minority leader.
Focus on your security work. I mean, it's gaining traction. There are a lot of people who are talking about how the Chairman Wontumi bill condition issue is going on. Finally, have you been able to hear anything from inside?
No interview.
Well, you see, the minority leader just smiled to me as I asked him the questions. Obviously not willing to give anything. But their point is that they will continue to make this case. They are continuing to sit here and demand that something happens with regards to Chairman Wontumi, with regards to the bill conditions that the Ghana Police, the Economic and Organized Crime Office have imposed on this matter. And so this continue to happen. Leader, exactly. And so the New Patriotic Party MPs continue in their protest here. They are on the floor and they continue to insist that until the bail conditions are met, they are not going to back. That is the Chief Whip himself conducting affairs here, trying to organize and make sure that the MPs have a lot of fresh air coming to them. And they are making the point that something ought to happen with Chairman Wontumi here. Before they leave here, they need to get the bail conditions varied by the Economic and Organized Crime Office, and then ultimately Chairman Wontumi to be released so that he can go and tend to himself. They say that Chairman Wontumi is not very well, and the 50 million cedi bail condition that has been imposed is simply not tenable. It is actually unreasonable. That is the word that I've heard a lot of members of parliament use in describing that, and they say that something ought to happen with respect to that bill condition that has been imposed, which they have described as unreasonable because it simply does not accord to common sense that someone will turn himself in and then you will seek to do that. I've just seen the minority leader get up. The minority leader himself has just gotten up and he's headed towards the EOCO barricades where some senior police officers, we expect perhaps, will speak to them and explain from their side of what exactly it is that they intend to do here with Chairman Wontumi, the MPP's Ashanti Regional Chairman, still being held. And a number of police officers have now come to try and speak with the leadership of the minority here. And so they've gotten up and they've gone right to the barricade to speak to the officers. I see 2 police officers engaged in a tete-a-tete, trying to have a conversation with each other to try and agree on something to tell the minority leadership, who have gone right to the barricade and making this demand, calling for the release of Chairman Wontumi. It's been a little over an hour since we arrived here from Parliament. Parliament was sitting. The minority leader, had not been around for some time. When he walked in, he requested that he be made to make some urgent statements on some national importance. In fact, when he started, he was blocked by the first deputy speaker, who insisted that the minority leader was not following the rules when it comes to making those urgent statements. He had to take some back and forth, and ultimately the minority leader was allowed to make that statement. And when he did make the statement, he said that it was unreasonable that Chairman Wontumi will be held for more than 48 hours and the bail condition be set at 50 million Ghana cedis with 2 sureties to be justified. They did not think that that was reasonable and that accorded to common sense and the rule of law. And so they decided that they were going to boycott proceedings, all of it today and any subsequent day, that Chairman Wontumi will continue to be held by the Economic and Organized Crime Office to try and make the case that Chairman Wontumi ought to be released, and ultimately the 50 million Ghana cedi bill condition must be revised. And so there's a conversation currently going on between the leadership of the minority. Okay, they are back. Perhaps no agreement struck, no understanding reached, so the minority leader is back to take his seat on the floor to continue this protest that he had. They did go there to speak to the police officers for a very short while, and they are back on the floor to take their seats because they said they are going to escalate these processes. You saw me there go to the minority leader to try and get him to speak to me. I asked him a couple of questions. He looked at me and smiled. A big police vehicle has just made its way here, a FPU vehicle, to try and, well, Cassie. A big police vehicle just got here, it's been honking, and a couple of the party supporters who are here, clearly not happy, have just gone in there. They are hooting at the police while the police try to make their way through. A pickup van has blocked the police vehicle from going, and so the police vehicle is unable to move. It has been blocked by a pickup. We don't know who that pickup belongs to. This is the pickup that has blocked the police vehicle from moving, and the police, as we speak, are unable to move with this vehicle. We are yet to ascertain the identity of who owns that pickup and why exactly that pickup has blocked the police vehicle from moving. And so this is an escalation of the conflict happening here. You see a lot of party supporters who are very much aggrieved and who are shouting at the police and having a confrontation with them because some of them trying to open the police vehicle and actually banging it. They're actually banging the police vehicle. A lot of them are banging the police vehicle now. That police route control van that is just parked in the middle there. I've seen a couple of party supporters just bang it and try to say that they are not going to allow the police vehicle to move. And so there's a pickup that has come into the middle of the road. It has blocked the police route control van from moving, and it is stationed here. Let me try and get closer to the action a little bit and get to see what exactly is happening. You see a pickup that has just blocked the police route control van from actually going on with party supporters actually having a shouting match with some of the police officers. I've seen Henry Nanabuachi in the midst of it trying to get some understanding of what exactly is going on. We do not know where this police riot van has not always been here. It just came in here trying to use the other lane to the Atamils High Street, and a pickup van has blocked it from moving. We saw some party supporters banging the vehicle of the police and insisting that it was not going to be allowed to move, and it's currently a standstill. Whether or not, well, you were here. Is that what happened?
No, the car is already parked right in the middle of the road. You are a police officer. Why do you want to drive over the car? Why do you want to?
But this is a public road.
I understand.
Why is this road blocked?
I understand it has been blocked, but you don't have to pass over the vehicle. That's my problem. Although it is wrong for it to be in the middle of the road, but you don't have to drive over. You don't have to drive over. I say, how do you know that people are even inside the car? Do you want to kill people? Senior, you understand what I'm saying? Yeah, so that's the issue. Although the road has been blocked, but don't drive over them. That's the issue.
Right, so this is someone who claims to be an eyewitness explaining what, in his view, happened. He says this pickup van was actually parked here before the police route control vehicle did try to come through, and that the police route control vehicle did attempt to go over the vehicle. That is his version of stories here. And as we speak, the police have not been able to go through because the pickup van is still there. I just saw one very senior police officer, that police officer who did have an engagement with the minority leadership on the other side. He came over here to try and get some understanding, some buy-in of what exactly may have happened. And so Henry Nanabuachi having some conversation there with a police officer to try and get some understanding. Currently, there's no driver in the pickup van. And so that van will obviously not move now because there's no driver in it. We do not know who it belongs to and whether or not they are going to find the owner to come and then move the vehicle so that the route control van can then move. But that route control van is currently blocked. It is unable to actually move. And things are getting a bit escalated here because some party supporters have brought vehicle ties to block the road. And so there are a number of vehicle ties that party supporters have brought to the middle of the road to try and block it. There's a police officer trying to speak to them and reason with them and get an understanding of what exactly is happening. But no headway has been made with regards to that matter. But the youth, the young people and party supporters who have come in here have brought car ties to the middle of the road, and so the road has also been blocked. I don't know what they intend to do with it, to set fire on it, what exactly to do with it. And so a police officer tried to calm the situation. He has not been able to do so. And so there are still car ties in the middle of the road that has been used to block the entirety of the road. And so this police, okay, so what happened here? What happened with this and that?
Please, I'm a Police Regional Nasara coordinator. I just from my region, because they can take one of our regional chairman. It's not handling any position. It's just a businessman. The regional chairman as a political. You arrest him, he come to report it. Look at what you did to him. It's not well. So we are here. We are here on behalf of him. We want them to release them. How can you give someone bail? You ask him to pay 50 million Ghana cedis. Look at this driver. We are standing here when the police driver went to knock us. He brought the car. So we can't take that nonsense. We can't take that nonsense. We are not here. We are abiding citizens. You understand? We want to stand on our right. So we are prepared.
Thank you very much. And so he explains what has exactly happened. But you see the party supporters, they brought some ties, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. 9 car ties right in the middle of the road. Well, my count was wrong. That is 8 car ties. And then there is a big stone in the middle of it. Some people have dumped refuse in the middle of the road to try and block the police service, the car. And so the car is now sandwiched between the pickup and that. And so there is the refuse, and there's also the big stone that are currently also in the middle of the road. And it appears the route control van has been blocked from going to where it's going. It has been able to negotiate that it's now going to do a reverse. And so an order has come from some of these people. They've cleared the ties from the road. They're going to move the refuse also from the road. There's a big stone that is still here in the middle of the road that this vehicle obviously cannot go over. And so that will also have to be taken out of the road before the police route van can then go back. There is a pickup van that has blocked the police vehicle from going ahead. And so that pickup van will now have to do a reverse. And some of these things will now have to be moved. Obviously, things are a bit escalating here at the police, at the Economic and Organized Crime Office, where Chairman Wontumi is currently in detention. And so this police route van, which was not here at the time we came, actually wanted to go ahead, but was blocked because of a pickup van that is parked right in front of it. And so after some shouting between the police officers and the New Patriotic Party supporters and their leaders who are around, in fact, the Nabi was at the center of it, trying to have an understanding and to try and make the car be able to move. But there is no driver currently in that pickup, and so that pickup will obviously not be able to move for the route control van to move. And so that route control van will now have to come and do a reverse and then go back to perhaps where it came from before we can find a driver of the van and be able to move. Hitherto, there had been some stones and other things that have been put in here. There are people who are now singing and chanting that Chairman Wontumi must be released. And they continue to chant that Chairman Wontumi ought to be removed. Some young people who are here and continuously demanding the release of Chairman Wontumi. For those of you just joining the coverage, this is a rolling coverage. It started from Parliament. The minority leader himself making a statement on the floor, an urgent statement that actually demanded that the Economic and Organized Crime Office varies the bail conditions of Chairman Wontumi so that he can be released from custody. they boycotted proceedings and walked right from Parliament on their feet up until this economic and organized crime office, where they are currently, all of them, seated on the floor. And this riot control van becoming the center of a little bit controversy when it tried to move over to the other side, but was blocked by a white pickup, which is now, I see the former Greater Accra Regional Youth Organizer of the MPP, Moses Abo, who was just seated at the front. I see that he has gotten down again. And this riot control van has been blocked from accessing that side of the road, and now doing a reverse and going back. It was blocked. It was not allowed any access to go to its intended destination, which we do not know. We do not know where exactly this riot control van intended to go before it was blocked by that white pickup over there. And so things got a bit escalated here. They had to take some tact with both the police leadership here and the Ghana Police Service leadership here to try and calm things down and try and get the police to retreat on this before things got a bit calm. And so things have calm. The police are trying to move the ties out of here. The police officer here himself picking the ties and giving them out. There are a couple of people who are moving the ties away from this place. The police themselves helping in this endeavor. So you've seen some of the young people tell the police officer that if they take the car ties away, they will bring the ties back. And that is he just worrying himself. But the police officer is still carrying through with taking the car ties away from the middle of the road to try and move the things out of the way so that the path can be clear. And so the ties have been moved away. And the young people have still said that there's still a police officer in the midst trying to calm things down. Things have been calm since the minority leadership arrived here. They are still on the floor, by the way, as we speak. And things just got a little heated when this riot control van became the center of controversy with a white pickup blocking it from moving. It has now done a retreat. It's gone back. And there's something happening there. I think the owner of the ties is trying to get his ties, but the young people say they are not going to allow him move the ties. And so they are blocking him from moving his own ties away.
All right, so we are still coming to you live from the EOCO head office, which has become a scene of political activity by the MPP minority in Parliament. Now, they've been joined by some leading members of the party and ordinary supporters of the party. And they are demanding, among others, that they are given access to the Ashanti Regional Chair of the party, Wontumi, known as Benedict Jubu, who is in the custody of the EOCO. But currently, as we speak, as we are told by his lawyers, is receiving medical care at the hospital. And they are also working to ensure that they are able to meet the bail bond of 50 million Ghana cedis. The MPP minority, they are of the view that the amount in question is just too high. And for that reason, there must be a variation of the bail conditions so that Mr. Wontumi can have his temporal freedom whilst investigations are conducted into allegation of causing financial loss to the state. Remember, Wontumi is being investigated on two fronts. There's one conducted by the CID relating to Akonta Mines and the fact that, according to the CID, the Akonta Mines undertook mining without requisite documentation, also undertook pollution of water bodies, and also entered forest reserve without the necessary authorization. That investigation is on one side. And then the other one is also being conducted by EOCO, and this relates to a charge of causing financial loss to the state, relates to some loans that he may have gotten from Exim Bank. And it is the reason why he's been held. We are into the 48-hour deadline, and we do not know what EOCO next action will be. If Wontumi is unable to meet the bail bond by close of work today, it's already 10 minutes after 4, meaning 15 minutes more before business comes to a close. But the minority today on the floor of Parliament raised the matter. The minority leader, Alexander Afenyo-Markin, in his attempt to present a statement on the floor, was prevented from doing so by the first deputy speaker who was in the chair, after which they decided that they will no longer participate in any business on the floor until the bill condition is varied, after which they took a march from the Parliament House, and now they are now seated comfortably on the road in front of EOCO, demanding that Wontumi is given a more flexible bail condition and better so released from custody. We are keeping an eye on this particular matter until something more developing come out of it. But let me bring in Dr. Rashid Rahman, who watches Parliament a lot. Let me find out the implications of this in terms of getting Parliament to work, because now they've made their position clear. Until the bail condition is varied, they will no longer participate in any business on the floor. Dr. Rahman, these are MPs who are not in defense of their colleague MP, but rather in defense of a political party activist belonging to their fold. What do you make of what is happening? Right, so we've lost... Yes, Dr. Rahman, I can hear you. Good afternoon, and a pleasure.
Good afternoon. Your colleagues were interfering, so I didn't hear what you said.
Great. So I was asking, I mean, these are members of Parliament. They are out on the streets, and they are not doing so in defense of their colleague, but rather in defense of a political activist in their fold. What do you make of this?
Elton, I think for me, when I heard the news break and then the walkout, what came to my mind, first of all, is the fact that as a country, it doesn't look like we are agreed on the rules that should govern us. A number of questions were running through my mind. Number one, if this is about varying the bail conditions of the chairman of the party for Ashanti region, did EOCO break the law? What does the law say? I mean, is EOCO in a position to use discretion to set bail conditions, or they did that within the confines of the law? And if they did, then really this is, I think, going too far. That is the action of the minority. If they have gone outside of the law, and we have seen these things happen a number of times. Anytime political party is in opposition and one of their own is arrested, I mean, we see these kind of matches, as if to say those who are trying to enforce the law are doing something that is outside the mandate that they have been given. And if indeed what they are doing is outside the mandate that they have, I think Parliament is a place to set and agree on the rules. So that's the first thing that came to my mind. If indeed EOCO is going outside these bounds, I mean, EOCO can be called before Parliament. To be reminded of the fact that, every institution in our republic is under the supervision of Parliament. If EOCO is not outside the bounds of its mandate, then please, these MPs must respect our institutions and let them work. Number two, sorry, Elton.
Yeah, please go ahead.
I'm saying that number two, what came to my mind is, what is the value of, the question I was asking myself, what's the value of, the walkout and the threat not to participate in government business at a time when the NDC has a comfortable majority and can form a quorum and can form, a quorum to do parliamentary work and can form a quorum to carry out business, of the House. So really, this threat, I think that is a strategy that maybe the minority side might have to revise. We are not in the 8th Parliament, where the absence of a few members can make it difficult for government business to conducted. We are in the 9th Parliament, and the number game, I think, is no longer the case. I mean, in this 9th Parliament. So all to say, maybe rather than walk out, I think they should stay in the House and ensure that, you know, those who have questions to answer are brought before the House to answer those questions in terms of whether or not they are going outside their mandate. If not, then I think they should leave the institutions to work. Otherwise, they will also be accused of playing politics with, enforcement of the rule of law.
But again, let me also say that we're also live on Joy Prime. Dr. Draman, I mean, clearly in terms of numbers, the NDC may have the numbers to do business on the floor, and then the MPP's absence may have no effect on them. But the implications of some of these actions on the image of the country, because clearly now it's become a global, whatever is happening in Ghana, obviously somebody sitting in America and watching and saying what is happening in Ghana.
Yes, indeed. In fact, that's the only part of it that will require some negotiation, because at the end of the day, even if NDC can constitute, the House properly and do business, you don't want decisions that are one-sided, especially in this country where we have seen, things being reversed, one government after another. You want to make sure that at every point in time, whatever is happening in the House, at least all the key stakeholders, there are only two key stakeholders here. Both of them are involved. At least, first of all, to improve our image democratically, and secondly, to reduce the possible risk of someday when the minorities change, that we see people saying we're not part of this decision and we are going to change whatever decision has been made or change the law that was passed in our absence and so on. And that risk is real.
So you think that they should call this off, make their case strongly on the floor? They think that this kind of civil disobedience can also get the answers that they need?
Well, it has a limit. So ideally, I would say, I think in the interest of the job that they have signed up for, to sit in the House and make sure that everybody in the Republic does the right thing, I would appeal to them to go back to the House, rescind that decision that they would never be part of any parliamentary work.
Right.
This issue is resolved. I think they should go back to the House and make sure that if EOCO is wrong,
they do that.
I think they should bring EOCO to the floor, and I believe it's going to be in the interest of the NDC also to make sure that these rules are set, these precedents are set.
Okay. All right. Well, let's leave it here, Dr. Rashid Doma. Let me cross over to the EOCO head office, where the minority leader is again speaking to the media.
EOCO is saying that they are better than CID headquarters. Those in charge must be professional. What is happening to Wontumi can happen to me today, tomorrow. It can happen to my respected senior here tomorrow. My mother here. Enough is enough. We are not just going to walk away. We are not just going to walk away. We'll be here. We'll be here.
Since you came, have you had any words?
No further comments. I've made my point. Thank you very much.
Okay, so those were the words of the minority.
So that's the minority leader. They're making the indication that they will stay there as long as it will take, and then until their demands are met. And they have only one demand, is that they are given access to Wontumi. There should be variation of the bail condition, and for that reason, 48 hours after his arrest, there must be clarity as to the way forward as far as EOCO is concerned. Professor Kwadwo Apiajetua is at the law faculty of the University of Ghana. Prof, so their claim here is that the 50 million Ghana city bill condition is just too much. Is there a threshold, under what circumstances can this be set as this level of 50 million? And is it too much, too low? Is there a threshold that is acceptable that we all can come to and say that this is quite, agreeable? I mean, help us understand what really is going on, and if the minority have a case to say that what you are asking Wontumi to provide or to guarantee is simply out of order.
Thanks for having me. First of all, everyone is entitled to a bail, and it is it's a right that is recognized in that constitution and in the Criminal and Other Offences Act. So if anybody commits an offense, the police may want to do some investigation to the matter, and therefore they haven't got to a stage where they can charge the person. You cannot at the same time keep the person behind bars or in the police cells for a very long period. So within 48 hours, as the Constitution says, the person will have to be charged or granted bail. So it's a right that we all are entitled to enjoy in case we fall foul of the law. But the point is that every bail condition, if you go to the Martin Pebu case, it said that every case is bailable. Entitled to a bail situation, yes. But it's determined on a case-by-case basis. It depends on the nature of the offense. And so if the threshold is, the offense that is committed maybe involves a huge amount of money, then the bail condition will have to be higher, so that in case a person flees from jurisdiction or from the control of the courts, then this bail condition, the money that has been set as bail, can be used to deal with the offense that the persons may have committed and the amount of money he or she may have been alleged to have stolen or embezzled or whatever. So in this particular context, if a bail is given, it is also for other reasons, whether the person may escape or the person may interfere with the investigations and so on. If the conditions set is not satisfactory to the person that is subject to, whether as a suspect or as an accused person or in whatever situation the person is, then the person can go to court for the court to vary the bail conditions.
Right.
So this situation, I don't see why members of parliament should leave the presence of parliament where they are supposed to perform the business of parliament, to make laws and to ensure that other functions that they are entitled to, for which they are paid, should be left hanging, and then they come to EOCO to ask for the release of somebody who is alleged to have committed an offense. I think it is not a very nice picture to see, and it doesn't speak well of our members of parliament in the opposition.
The 48-hour rule, and if I should do the calculation for the time he was arrested, we've gone past that particular 48-hour rule. So what should we expect from EOCO? According to lawyers for Mr. Wontumi, he was taken to the hospital somewhere in the afternoon before the minority MPs got to the EOCO head office. And he told us that he's still working around the clock to meet the bail condition. Even in the hospital, he's still in the custody of EOCO. But we've gone past the 48-hour deadline. What should happen now?
No, the 48-hour rule applies where, within which time frame the person should be granted a bail. When the bail is granted, the person will have to meet the bail conditions before the person can be set free. So if the bail is granted, but the person is not able to meet the bail conditions, the 48-hour rule does not run anymore. So because at that point, it's in the hands of the person who is entitled to be bailed to meet the bail conditions. And so if it takes 1 week for him or her to meet the bail conditions, the person will remain under the custody of the particular security agency. And that will not be in violation of the 48-hour rule. And so if the conditions are considered to be strenuous and difficult to meet, the next step is for the person entitled to the bail, his lawyer or her lawyer, to proceed to court to challenge the conditions and ask the court to vary the bail conditions so that the person can be let go. Maybe the amount is too high, or the conditions to report it is too difficult for the person because of maybe some health conditions and so on, and the person is not at a flight risk, all those factors may be considered for the court to vary the bail conditions.
All right, Prof, thank you so much. Let me take you back to the EOCO head office where the minority guys are simply having fun in their demands for the release of Chairman Wontumi.
There in your shot, the minority leader Alexander Afenyo-Markin moving up and down, giving morale to his members, his caucus members, as he moves to and fro in front of his MPs, giving them all the support they need to stay on course and hold true to the reason they are here. Some chanting the anthem of the party and others also singing the national anthem. But the minority leader himself is on his feet while his members are sitting on the floor. He's moving in there to the far end there, giving them all the moral support they need. He is actually the one leading the moral or the Jama session here. He raises the song and the member speaks that and continue to chant it while he moves to the others, giving them handshake there, urging them on to stay true to the cause, beaming with all of the smile he could and giving them a handshake there. The minority leader Alexander Afenyo-Markin there in your shot, cheering his members on. They are in full resolve of the reason they are here, determined to see the EOCO officials at all costs before they move out of here. You see him there exchanging some pleasantry, getting some information from the national organizer, Nana B. There, another prayer also exchanging pleasantry with the other members, while those behind them are keeping the chorus on, the party anthem chorus on here in front of the EOCO headquarters. You see a number of them in your shot there. And so the march is ongoing. The deputy minority leader, Patricia PJ, in your shot there, also on the grounds, giving her solidarity. The minority leader is still on, giving them the support they can, giving them handshake, with beaming, with smile. They seem to be enjoying what they are doing here. Now giving a warm hug to his deputy, Madam Patricia Piaget there. They seem to be really enjoying what they're doing here, keeping the spirit on while waiting to see if any member of the EOCO would come out here to take their words from them, to take a message from them. So there you have it. The minority leader Alexander Afenyo-Markin are still exchanging pleasantry with his members. And the heavy security guard, actually, you see two security men actually giving him protection in the black suit there, warding off any member of the public who want to get too close to him. He's having a chat with another member of the minorities. It's unclear what they are talking about, but it is all as part of the cause for which they are here. And trying so hard to see if I can get a word from Honorable Anodompre on what the significance of what the minority leader is doing here. Trying to see if I can get a word. But you see, Alexander Afenyo-Markin is still on, giving some messages, receiving some messages from other members of the minority caucus. They have been here since about 3 p.m. and they have vowed to stay here until they get some word from the EOCO officials. It is unclear how long it will take the EOCO officials. Ideally, it is almost 5 p.m. here, and the EOCO should be closing for the day, but we haven't seen any of the staff moving out of the place. The barricade is still on, and no official of the EOCO have moved out so far as to signal that they have closed from work. A number of them who were at the windows, glancing through from the windows to the street, have also abandoned their positions now, and it's still unclear how long it will take them to come here to pick a word or two from the minority. But they are still here. The members are still on the floor, sitting on the floor, waiting for Chairman Wontumi to be released and to see if they can live here. I see the Honorable Jerry Ahmed sitting at the far end of the queue. Honorable, I see you are guarding the far end of the line here. How is it going so far?
Good.
I mean, how long will you be here?
Talk to my colleague. He's the spokesperson for the streets.
He's the spokesperson for what?
For the streets.
For the streets. Honorable, I'm told you are the spokesperson for the street.
Yes.
How is the street treating you?
The street is the one you are seeing now. And you can see what is treating us from the EOCO office. And what they are doing, you know, and you have seen it. And you have to also tell them that what you are doing to the street is not good. And that is what we are telling them now.
How long will you be on the street?
We have been on the street since, so you will be there. You will be here, so we have been here since. So
till 7 p.m. till 9 p.m.
You will be here.
Until it takes the EOCO to come and listen to you.
You will be here.
Any indication when Chairman will be released?
We have not seen any indication. We have not heard any indication. So we are here still. We are on the street, so we will be on the street still.
Thank you. And I'm told he is the leader of the street, telling us about the fact that they will still continue to be here. It is unclear when they will be leaving, but they will be here until they are able to hear any word from the EOCO. As it is now, it is not clear whether any member of the EOCO will be coming out to hear from them. But as they say, they will continue to be here, and we are here with them as long as it will take them to keep on the street. They are sitting right flat on the quota, the hard surface of the street, and they say they will continue to be here for as long as it will take them. Let me see if I can get a few views from the members of the public who are still here. Sir, are you tell me, are you also part of the MPs?
I am not part of the MPs, but I'm a member of New Patriotic Party. I was the immediate past DCE for South Dine District. Okay. And at the same time, the PC, okay, the parliamentary candidate on the ticket of MPP.
Are you coming from the OT region to this place today?
I travel down from Volta region to lend my support for the members of parliament, MPP members of parliament. I'm from Volta region today to this place. We have the democratic principles, institutions in state which will take care of these situations. How are we behaving as if we are still under military regime in Ghana? We must let these things stop. Mahama must know that he's not actually applying the democratic processes to deal with issues in the country. That is all I have for you.
Well, what are your specific opinion about this? You think that what is happening is unlawful?
It's unlawful, it's undemocratic.
Okay.
It's undemocratic.
Okay.
Thank you.
And you see the MPs now rising to their feet. One would believe that the Honorable Minority Leader would be giving a word on... Honorable, why are you done?
No.
I'm trying to get to Honorable Anodompre, who is currently addressing the media.
88 Infantry Battalion, and that is the minority.
Ladies and gentlemen, we have walked here today not merely as members of parliament, not merely as representatives of the minority, but as concerned citizens who refuse to stand idle while the pillars of justice, fairness, and human decency are being torn apart under our very noses. Ladies and gentlemen, the events of the past few days have cast a dark and chilling shadow over the states of our democracy. What happened to Mr. Bernard Escalating, known as Chairman Wontumi, is nothing short of a national disgrace. It is a stain on our conscience and a threat to every citizen who still believes that Ghana is a land governed by laws, not political vendettas. We are not here to shield wrongdoing. And let me emphasize that. We are not here to shield any wrongdoing whatsoever. We are not here, again, to obstruct investigations. But we are here because a line has been crossed. A dangerous, unacceptable line that signals that state power can now be used to humiliate, traumatize, and silence citizens under the pretext of justice. Ladies and gentlemen, let us be clear. This was not an arrest. It was a clear ambush. It was a calculated display of brute force. A man who voluntarily submitted himself to the CID in good faith, who was cooperating fully with lawful investigations, was less than 24 hours later subjected to militarized operation straight out of dictatorship playbook. He was seized like a fugitive, much like a criminal, and hauled into detention without any dignity or respect owed to any citizen, let alone one who had not resisted the law. And what was the result? He collapsed. He was hospitalized. His health broke under the sheer weight of EOCO's cruelty. Is this what justice looks like in Ghana today? Is this what our democracy has become? Chairman Wontumi may be the target today, but make no mistake, this is not just about him. This is about a dangerous pattern that is emerging under this government. The misuse of state institutions to settle political scores, the erosion of impartiality in our law enforcement agencies, and the growing culture of fear and silence that is being imposed on our political discourse. We cannot, and we will not. We will not allow EOCO, the NIB, the police, or any state agency to be weaponized for political intimidation. We will not allow our democracy to be defiled by power-drunk actors who believe they are above the law. And we will not allow the Ghanaian people to be deceived into thinking that this is ordinary justice at work. If there are genuine concerns to be investigated, let them be pursued with fairness, with transparency, and with dignity. But what we witnessed was none of what. What we witnessed was the abuse of the law by those entrusted to uphold it. What we witnessed was a shameful chapter in our democratic journey, one that we must resist, reject, and remember. The minority in Parliament stands united, resolute, and unafraid,
We will continue to speak power, truth to power. We will continue to walk the path of justice, no matter the cost, even at the peril of our lives, because we believe that Ghana must never be a country where political differences are punished with persecution, where opposition is met with oppression, where speaking out means being dragged out. Ladies and gentlemen, this work is not the end. It's the beginning of a multiplicity of factors and actions to be staged in the days ahead of us. It is only the beginning, a beginning of vigilance, a beginning of resistance, a beginning of people rising to reclaim the soul of this republic from those who trade in it for control. The EOCO, well, to the EOCO, to this government, and to those watching, we say this. The emphasis is mine. We say this. The minority is watching. The people are watching. History is watching. Yes. I thank you, and may God bless our country. I'm grateful.
And history is what?
Watching.
And history is what?
Watching.
And history is what?
Watching.
And posterity is what?
Watching.
Posterity is what?
Watching.
Posterity is what?
Watching.
Posterity is what?
Watching.
For those who have ears, let them
hear.
For those who have ears, let them
hear.
For those who have eyes, let them
see.
For those who have eyes, let them
see.
For those who have mouth, let them talk. For those who have mouth, let them see.
The minority in parliament addressed the news conference just ended, where they have been resolute in the points that they have made. I've just secured. I'm going to share some details with you. Just addressed by the minority, and they're talking about why they believe that they are going to stand resolute and united, unafraid on this matter, and ensure that Chairman Wontumi and any other person is not brutalized or their rights are not trampled upon. It appears the protest is just about coming to an end right here at the EOCO office. It's about 15 minutes to top of the R5, and the Chief Whip has just finished addressing the news conference, which they have laid out what they believe to be some human decency issues and some of the things that they think should happen. James Aveji has been here all morning, right before he came in. And James, I mean, you were here in the morning prior to we coming here. What was the kind of information you were getting as to Chairman Wontumi and his bail conditions?
Well, Kweku, we've been here since last night. As at last night was when we had the story that he's been granted bail to the tune of 50 million Ghana cedis with 2 sureties, all to be verified. That news came in at about 8 p.m. And so we started thinking about the sureties, which you know more about, that they would have to, EOCO officials will have to go around and verify those before he's granted bail. And so I quickly had to call his counsel, and luckily I got through to him and he confirmed that for me, and that they are working round the clock to make sure they get that for him so that he leave last night. And then 9:30 p.m. We were told that the bail conditions have not been met, and so they had to leave and come back this morning. We got here at about 9:10 a.m. When 11 o'clock we had the confirmation that one of the sureties have been met, and so he was left with one. That's what we've been hanging around all along before we had the information about your team with the MPs moving from Parliament to meet us here. And so that's been the journey so far. From last night, the party supporters we have here have not been here. I counted about 50 of them who were on the median of the road, are still trying to throw in their solidarity so far to them. This morning, all up until the time the minority lead members came here, the street has still been empty. No party supporter was here. Nothing was happening except the correspondence we were getting from some officials who were inside and have been sharing to the public until you came in. And we've seen all that we've seen here. I'm just grateful that no altercation has happened No one has been injured. The police have been able to bring the situation under control and all of that all through up until now. And so I want to believe that from what we've heard from them, they will be moving out of the place and the street will be cleared. As we saw, the two sides of the road, the two roads have been blocked and traffic have been limited. And so we are hoping that there will be...
So Justice Agbenozi here with Graphic. He's been getting loads of information about the process so far. Justice, you've been here also trying to get information as to what is happening. Have you gotten any indication as to the whereabouts of Chairman Wontumi and the process to get his bail conditions met?
Well, I spoke to the lawyer about 2 hours ago before I got here. And the lawyer tells me that they are still trying to get sureties, people to stand as sureties for Chairman Wontumi. And so they have not been able to meet the bail conditions. And as I now, I've been trying to call him. I just called his number and it's not going through. Yeah.
So the bail conditions, as we know now, has still not been met, and the understanding will be that Chairman Wontumi will still be in EOCO's custody?
Yes, that is the understanding I'm getting. But I mean, I think that the minority have an option to go to court, or the Wontumi's lawyer has an option to go to court to file for a bail variation if the 15 million bail bond is too much for them. And I think they should explore that option before this protest.
Exactly. It was a question I was about to ask, because we've seen in exactly with EOCO and Edubuahin, the bail conditions were set and they had to go to the High Court to get it varied a little bit, and that is an option. In speaking to the lawyers, do you sense it's an option they are willing to take, or is this something they're considering at all?
Well, the lawyer gives me an indication that by close of today they'll be able to meet the bail conditions. So let's hope that before the day ends, they'll be able to get people to stand as sureties. If they are unable to do that, then I mean tomorrow they would have to go to the court to probably file for a bail variation. Yeah, and if they don't do that, because tomorrow is Friday, if they are unable to do that, then it means that he's likely to be in custody over the weekend until Monday, which wouldn't send good signal to the citizens. Yeah.
And I am pretty surprised when the minority came in and we heard that Chairman Wontumi is still here, because before you came in, the indication we got is that he's been sent back to the hospital. We know he's been in and out of the hospital, and so before the minority came here, we were told that he's not in the premises, he's been sent back to the hospital. And so I was pretty surprised they tell us that he's still here, for which reason we are saying all of what is happening. But as it stands now, it is either the bail condition is met, more energy is put into getting the bail condition, or they go to court tomorrow to get it varied. You see the youth also taking advantage of their position to exhibit their youthful exuberance, keeping the morale high here. The minority is back. I don't know if they will still be here and how long they will be here.
I mean, given that they've just addressed the news conference, we expect that any moment from now they will perhaps leave. But I still see that there are a number of MPP MPs who are still seated on the floor, which presupposes and we suggest that they intend to stay here perhaps late into the evening to continue in drumming home the demand that this process ought to come to an end, and Chairman Wontumi, their Ashanti Regional Chairman, will be released on what they call self-recognizance bail without having to justify with landed properties 50 million Ghana cedis. Early on, the minority leader who was going around talking to his colleagues was telling them that there is no way they are going to meet that bail conditions because it's unreasonable, and if they do meet it, it will send wrong signals to the public that EOCO and other bodies can simply just arrest you and slap very unreasonable bail terms on you and expect that they're going to keep you in custody for a long time. And that is the same point that another the Chief Whip has sent out in this. In fact, let me quote a part of their statement that it was just read. It says, let me be clear. This was not arrest. It was an ambush. It was a calculated display of brute force. That is a man who voluntarily submitted himself to the CID in good faith and was cooperating fully with lawful investigations, and were less than 24 hours later subjected to a militarized operation straight out of a dictatorship playbook. He was seized like a fugitive, marched like a criminal, and held into detention without a dignity or respect owed to any citizen, let alone who had resisted the law. And what was the result? He collapsed and was hospitalized. That is the position that have been taken by EOCO, by the minority in this matter, as they continue in their demand that Chairman Wontumi, the Ashanti Regional Chairman, will be released. They've also sent the signal that they will not participate in any further parliamentary business until the Ashanti Regional Chairman of their party is released from custody with the bail condition varied.
You know what is interesting? I've been reading through a few comments on social media on this, and there are people who are raising the issue about the unlawfulness of the gathering of the people on the streets.
There's a matter of the Public Order Act, and the question about whether if any ordinary group of citizens can simply group like this and the police will not even arrest them. Because protest, where people have notified the police, they've gone to court with injunctions and all that. Because this, some would say, is a special event that is covered under the Public Order Act, which you need to notify the police of and all that. And so, yeah, it's a legitimate point of view.
Exactly, but the only difficulty is that the police may not be able to enforce it in this instance. I mean, the question will be, exactly, are you coming to arrest the members of the general public and leave the MPs out, or you are coming to arrest all of them? And when people gather in this number, it is very, very difficult for police to initiate any form of arrest, because when you do, sometimes the public agitation even grows stronger, which degenerates into chaos. And so I think, well, those comments or those positions are valid, but in the space of some of these things, it will better be in the interest of peace, public peace, to let go certain things than to want to enforce the law to the latter. And so, well, maybe that is why they are here. You see some of the youth there also keeping the more exactly. Interestingly, I spoke to one gentleman on the side of the street conversation who tells me that, in fact, when he was here 2 days ago, when Chairman Wontumi was brought in on Tuesday, he is not a party supporter, but he was able to make at least 1,300 Ghana cedis. You know how?
So it's become a...
Exactly. When one of the officials, threw some few notes into the crowd, he was able to gather a few of them. I cannot confirm that, but he showed me 300 Ghana cedis. He said he spent the 1,000 out of the 1,003. And so for some of them, in situations like this, everybody have their interests, and that is what they protect best.
Exactly, and some of the people, you perhaps get a sense that they may not even understand what exactly is going on here. They saw a crowd, they came in here, they saw politicians, and they thought, well, listen, this is some time that we can stay here and make something out of it. And a lot of them pretty animated about what is going on and getting an indication. It says 7 minutes to 5, which would suggest that maybe other officials of EOCO will perhaps be closing their doors, because at 5 p.m., offices will be closed, and whether or not the bail conditions will be met or not is a conversation that will be had continuously, because the minority leader was clear in some of the commentary he was making that there is no way they are going to meet a bail condition of that magnitude, 50 million cedis. And I wanted to ask him, Eduboahin had 80 million, he met it. I think the wife also had, okay, his was to be justified. The wife, 120 million not to be justified, and so that was quite easy to meet. But when it comes to bail conditions to be justified, it's very easy. It's very difficult, because whatever properties you have to show, officers would have to go around and verify them, run some checks with the Lands Commission and all that before you are able to get it through. And so it's continuously going to be difficult. And Chairman Wontumi, we understand, will be working around the clock to try and see if he can meet the bail conditions and regain his freedom, having been in custody since Tuesday evening.
Yeah, it's quite interesting to a few people that 50 million Ghana cedis, in as much as it may sound, not quite a huge amount of money in the face of other bail conditions we've had in other cases. I'm sure the law would have the right say in this, and so we will just be hoping that they will be able to get to the law court tomorrow to see if they can be able to beat this down and see how they would be able to meet it. Kweku, it will be interesting to know if they say they've met one of the sureties and the other not met yet. You are a student of the law. For the ordinary citizen, what does it mean to say that they've met one surety, the other is not met?
Well, I'm two sureties to be justified, 50 million cedis. It means that you need to provide, these two people will have to, in a combined sense, provide properties that are worth that amount. And so if one person has showed up, it will mean that one other person hasn't showed up yet, or even if that person has showed up, the conditions has not been justified yet. Confirmations have not been had on those properties. And we know that recently when it came to, what's his name, Professor Afenyo-Markin, can Japan step up to try and make the bail conditions? I don't know if he has been here since Wontumi was arrested. Since you've been here, can Japan been here?
I haven't seen him around. The only top officials I have seen between yesterday and today were the former Attorney General Godfrey Debwadami, who was here at about 8:39 p.m. yesterday and walked around, went into the EOCO building for about some 10 minutes and then came out. Apart from him, in the morning, I also saw the former acting director of communication for the party, Yao Befi. I saw him around, but for other brass officials of the party, I haven't seen them around. And I'm sure that's where the difficulty is now.
They are trying to work around, perhaps to meet it, even at the same point that the minority have made the point that this is not a bill condition they can meet because it's unreasonable. A lot of them continue to be seated on the floor, and they continue to make the point that this bill condition is excessive, it's unreasonable, and EOCO must beat it down, revise it, or they are going to advise themselves.
You are still on Joy News, of course, also on Joy Prime, and we're still bringing you that live coverage of the happenings at the EOCO head office. That's the MPP minority. They've taken a seat, if you like, in the main road, demanding, among others, that the EOCO varies the bail condition imposed on the Ashanti Regional Chair of the party, Bernard Ntwibwesi, also known as Chairman Wontumi. Now, it's almost 5 p.m. If I'm checking the time, it's just 2 minutes to 5, which means that normal business in public circles will come to a close. If Wontumi is unable to meet the bail condition, meaning he will spend another night in the custody of the EOCO. Already we've been told by his lawyers, he's confirmed that he's no longer at the EOCO head office, but rather in a hospital receiving treatment. And this will be the third time he's receiving treatment in the midst of his interrogation by officials of EOCO. And so my colleagues, James Aveji and Kwaku Asante, are still with the minority side. They held a news conference condemning what has taken place and demanding, among others, the immediate release of the MPP Ashanti chair, describing what is happening as a clear abuse of power by the current administration. But there are legalities involved here. The man has been lawfully arrested and is going through the legal process, due process. Kwaku Asante is a former director of the Ghana Law School. Mr. Asare, you've been observing events since this standoff started about 2 hours ago. The minority members are clear that what is happening is not prosecution, but persecution. They are demanding, among others, a variation of the bail condition legally. I mean, is there a threshold? Are they right in their demands, or they are simply making politics out of this?
Hello?
Yes, I can hear you, Mr. Asare.
Hello?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I was asking about the stance taken by the minority and whether or not they are right in demanding a variation of the bail condition. Are they just making politics out of this when somebody has been lawfully arrested and taken to due process?
Thank you. I think it is the whole act is being politicized. EOCO operates under law because it was set up by law. And I watched the whole thing on your TV station, and I was amused, but at the same time, it was amusing, to say the least. I find it very amusing that MPP minority MPs would take the stance, that they take. See that the person has been arrested. My take on the matter is, if the Wontumi was informed of the reason for his arrest, he was told, that under the 1992 Constitution, he can choose a lawyer, of his own choice to represent him. That his freedom has lawfully been restricted. No one can fault EOCO, for doing what they have done. It's by law. And, if you ask for bail, there are certain conditions you have to fulfill. And, asking the police or EOCO to release him is not the way to go. I think it's just playing to the gallery, trying to attract some sympathy for Wontumi. And if all of us know who Wontumi is, I don't think that the minority will do, what they have done. First of all, they have to go to EOCO to find out, the cause for his arrest. Find out, whether it has the support of legality, and whether the force that was applied in effecting the arrest was excessive in the circumstances. If everything was lawful, then, they are just playing politics. If, on the other hand, there has been a violation of Wontumi's fundamental human rights, then, they have, they may have a course of action, but sitting down on the floor of Parliament or by the roadside or not, is not the way to go. They should go to court and apply for bail.
So,
rather than sit down and try to block, the police. That in itself amounts to obstruction, and it is an offense to obstruct the cause of justice. That is what the minority MP, they are MP, they know the law. They know that obstructing the police in the lawful execution of their duties constitutes an offense under our law. But not only that, the man, is facing lawful charges. It's an obstruction to justice. So they should rather go to court, use the law, to seek redress for him, rather than compound the already compounded worsening situation. That's my take on the matter.
But can we really blame the MPP, knowing very well that this spectacle is become an accepted part of our politicking in this country?
They did worse things. The MPP is my party. We did worse things. I'm not saying that, two wrongs, can make it right. But the thing is that I see these things as a useful lesson, useful political lessons for all our politicians, not only the NDC or MPP, because I keep saying that this is tit for tat. You do me, I do you. This kind of politics will not help us. But it is a useful lesson that the politicians, are teaching themselves. So it will play out every 8 years. Unless we, the citizens, speak our minds forthrightly, let us call a spade a spade. We shouldn't be partisan at all about this thing that is going on. You see, so every 8 years, like a chess game. Every 8 years, we renew it, we play it all over again, and then the general citizenry, we take sides. If you are MPP, it is good. If you are NDC, it is bad. If you are NDC, it is good. If you are MPP, it is bad. If we don't change this, political culture, a day will come when the whole nation will be engrossed in a controversy that no one, who can survive it. But I'm alluding to a social revolution one day. If this nonsense continues, to play itself out, our politicians are taking it for a ride. You mark my word, another 8 years, this whole drama will unfold again. And we'll be watching on JoyNews, on whatever, TV station, and, we'll laugh, we make, humor of it. Oh, that's the Ghanaian way to go. But we'll pay a price one day. Enough.
But Mr. Sante, Mr. Sari, have they taken this matter too far? I mean, when they say that they will no longer participate in business on the floor of Parliament until these demands that they are asking for.
Don't mind them. They will. In 1992, we boycotted the election. Today, we still vote. Don't mind them.
and then,
they will eat a humble pie. Don't mind them.
But personally, you think the 50 million is on a high?
I don't know the government or the offense. You see, every bill, may be commensurate with the, offense charge. I don't know the details, but I mean, if we are dealing with, the long arm of the criminal law, then what we need to do is to find out, from EOCO, the charge sheet or the details that they have before we decide to make any ugly noises. But if we don't have the details and then we go, and just pick it and say that we are attracting public sympathy, and then we wait another 8 years, it will happen all over again. Then we watch the drama day in, day out, and nobody is saying anything, and we keep watching. So if they have a good cause, they should go to court. The High Court is there. They can take the matter, to the High Court on Article 33, the Human Rights Court, and say that, the Wontumi, fundamental human rights are assault, and they feel that it is just not right, so the court must intervene. The roadside or the floor or the ground where they sit, it's not a court. It's not one of the established fora for ventilation of people's aggrieved people's grievances.
All right.
So, not
at all.
I mean, Ghana has come of age. The whole world is watching it. I know that elsewhere in Europe and North America, these things are just fun for the fun of it. But we haven't attained that maturity that can hold our hands from people. As the van moved in reverse gear, I told my brother, I said, this thing, a little spark can bring the whole nation down. So we all of us, I watched it live on your. Thanks very much for bringing the public view. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. Mr. Sansari is a former director of the Ghana School of Law, sharing his thoughts on this matter. Let me also bring in Mr. Mwakuba. We'll try and get him on the line shortly and then we can understand him. From what I'm seeing, it doesn't look like the minority guys want to leave. I think they are now, they've again approached the police officer serving as barricade between themselves and the office of the EOCO. Let me take you live there and hear what the minority chief is saying.
Give space for the MPs to come closer with the greatest of respect. Allow the MPs to get... The media can stand behind. We are not speaking. We are not doing any press conference. So you can just stand at this point. Allow the MPs as many as
Yes, Elton. So the minority are back to the barricade now. Just a while ago, they have been pushing. They have been walking up and down the streets, trying to stretch their limbs a bit. They've been walking from one end of the road to the other, from the far end to where the police water cannon is stationed. They've walked up and down for a few times, and now they are back. They are in front. They have now stationed themselves right at the barricade resting their arms on the barricade now, as they are still hopeful that any member from EOCO would come out now to come and speak to them. And so you see the minority leader at the far end there, also resting his arm on the barricade now, followed by all of his members. Initially, we thought they were going to address the media, but the indication we got from Anodom Prayer is that they are not going to address the media. What they want to do now is to come closer to the barricade now and rest on that. All are part of the action they are putting up here to attract the attention of the EOCO, to speak to them or to come forward and receive whatever information they have to give to the EOCO. And so that is what is happening now. All of the minority MPs now are leaning against the barricade as they wait and hopeful that the EOCO will come out to listen to them. I see, I can count at least 20 of them stretching from left to right, with the minority leader himself, Alexander Afenyo-Markin, right there in the middle of them. On his right is the Deputy Minority Leader, Patricia Appiagyei. To Patricia Appiagyei's right is the Minority Whip, Frank Anodom Prayer, and all other members of the Minority Caucus following on their left and their right. They are resting, leaning on the barricade as part of the activities. Before this, they were on the street, walking up and down the street when they stood up from the floor, walking up and down from one end to the other, stretching their limbs. The Honorable Frank Anodom Prayer at a point was urging them to stretch their arms as well, to shake off any form of tiredness as they prepare to stay on this course for as long as it will take the EOCO to come out and listen to them, or for Chairman Wontumi to be released from the custody of the EOCO. And so this is the position they are picked now, where they are all resting on the barricade now in order to take some rest, as well as a form of the protest. Now it has moved from the sit down to leaning on the police barricade. You see a number of the police officials also behind the barricade, some folding their arms, some resting their hands on their arms, looking in a face-to-face position now. The two sides standing before each other. I'm sure the minority would have wanted to get entry, but that will not be possible as they take resting positions on the barricade now, waiting to hear from the EOCO on what next step they will take. I'm sure all workers of EOCO now have evacuated the building as their day has come to an end now. They have closed work and they have left the scenes, leaving the minority here all by themselves as they continue to put the pressure on EOCO to release Chairman Wontumi. At this point in time, it is unclear whether the lawyers are making any more effort to get the bail conditions met. For those just joining us, we are live from the EOCO headquarters here in Accra, where the minority have been here since 3 p.m., almost 2.5 hours now, or more than that to 3 hours, trying to put pressure on the EOCO to release Chairman Wontumi from their custody. From the morning, the indication we get from the morning was that he is not here. He has been sent to the hospital, only for us to be told at 3 p.m. when the minority made their way here that he has been brought back, and so he is in the custody of EOCO. The minority said the bail condition is too hefty. The 50 million Ghana cedis with 2 sureties, all to be verified, is too hefty for them. And so they would want the EOCO to vary that. There are some who make the point that they should go to court to get the EOCO, to get the court to beat down the bail conditions at the 50 million Ghana cedis as well as the 2 sureties to see if the court could beat that down to get them to vary that. As at afternoon midday, we got the indication that they have met one of the sureties, and so the second is what they've been working around the clock for before the minority came here at about 3 p.m. To do their sit-down protest. It was a walk protest from the premises of Parliament all the way to EOCO here, and then turned into a sit-down protest where they sat on the bare road as part of the protest to get EOCO to come out and listen to them. And then it proceeded into another walk protest where they walk up and down the street here to stretch their limbs a bit. And now what is in your shot now is the minority members sitting here, resting their arms on the barricades as part of the protest. You see some 2 people on the uncompleted building there, also taking a glimpse of what is happening there through the Commission of Human Rights and Administrative Justice Shraj premises, the uncompleted building there where 2 members of the public are looking on as the police also take their...
All right, so that is the situation at the EOCO office. It doesn't appear to be ending anytime soon. The minority MPs are not going home. They intend to stay until they get answers to the many questions that they've asked. And so they are holding on at least until there's clarity to what they are demanding. And in here, we're still speaking to people with opinion on this matter to understand what really they make of this particular standoff that is happening right now at the head office of EOCO. It's 5 p.m. and I'm sure that those working in that office are beginning to leave the office and then go home. The director, we are told, is not available. The deputies are also not available. Wontumi himself was in custody, is in hospital as we speak. His lawyers say that they are working around to meet the bail condition. Dr. Mwakumba is a political watcher and is also observing what is going on. Let me pick a thought on what is happening. Dr. Mwakumba, is there justification in what the minority MPs are doing?
No. How many people have been arrested that you've seen family members of friends gather at the police station in order to pressure on the police to reduce the bail or anything like that? No. The MPs are just, they should be treated like everybody else. You know, I don't understand why they are doing that. The point is this. It depends on the amount of money they are talking about. The issue is about the amount of money that the government itself is talking about. If it's 50 million,
right,
doesn't mean you have 50 million. 10% of the bill, that's it. 10% of that. If they don't know, that's how they have to look at. But if the issue is about 50 million, why can't you pay 10% of? That's the deal. Besides, you have to ask yourself, is there a likelihood that the subject will flee? That's a chance you have to take. If you say for sure it's not going to flee, you have to convince the judge. What court are you going to go to convince? But if you want to fight these things, you have to go on a timely basis.
But Dr. Marco, on the other side, is a lack of communication coming from government circles regarding what exactly is going on. Apart from we hearing from the lawyers of Mr. Wontumi that he's been charged for causing financial loss to the state in a matter relating to a transaction between himself and Exim Bank, there is total silence from EOCO. Unlike the police, they issue a statement right after he was done with speaking to them, detailing the reason why they invited him to CID headquarters and the matters that they are investigating him on. As far as EOCO is concerned, there's total silence.
Well, I don't know what the reason is for that. So I cannot go into details about such things. The point is citizens don't have the right to go to the police just to put pressure on them to change their mind about certain things. All those things are done through the courts, not through them directly. You see, you have to go to court, appeal to a judge that the bail is too excessive. Then the judge will look at it and agree or disagree and amend it. But the way they are doing it is not how it's done. Is that the police that are supposed to change it? EOCO itself, well, EOCO, if all the directors who are involved coming to that conclusion for the amount of money, decide that, okay, we'll change it, and they would. But it's already past 5 o'clock. How do you get all of them? Or how do you get the big bosses who are supposed to make such a decision?
I
don't know what to think. This is not justice. This is not democracy. It is not a mob justice where if a lot of people must at a certain location and they put pressure on someone to change his mind or whatever. It's not done this way. And then, lawmakers should know how the law works. You understand? Lawmakers especially should know how the law works.
And they say that they are putting on hold their parliamentary duties until these demands are met.
Well, they are the minority. It does not matter whether they put it on hold or they go forward. It still doesn't matter. The other party, the majority has the majority. So whether you go or not, doesn't matter. That's the whole thing. It means, you see, here's the problem. You are a minority, and you want to be sure that the others are held to account in terms of how they go about making laws or making decisions. If you want to absent yourself, when you know you are in the minority and they have the super majority, what is gone? It means you are hurting yourself. Where you may have been able to delay things a bit or have an input, you are not there. They already have the majority, super majority. And so whether you're there or not doesn't matter really. And if you yourself decide not to go, well, fine. Then it means you've given them the carte blanche to do what they want. And that is irresponsible. Because sometimes you may not get the vote. But what you say in the process of the vote coming is important. And you are going to forfeit all of this, well, go ahead.
But, I mean, what is it with politicians that when they are arrested, it is persecution and not prosecution?
Exactly. So you have to ask them, because I'm not one of them.
You used to be.
Not really. Not really. I was a member of MPP, not a politician. No. You see, you have to ask them. I don't understand it. They make the laws, and when the laws they make are supposed to work, they don't like it to work the way they make it work. And what is this? You set it up this way. And they say when the rules are applied, you say no, because it affects you in a way that you don't want. What do I say about that? I mean, they're different from ordinary citizens.
Exactly. I'm trying to understand it. I mean, the ordinary Ghanaian is arrested sometimes on flimsiest of excuse, and then nobody comes to their aid. People are put on remand for years, and then they are totally forgotten. A politician is arrested today, and the whole nation must come to a standstill because a politician has been arrested.
Look, Wontumi has done a lot of wrong things, you see. And he said a lot of bad things too. We all live in this country, we know what happened. If he was a reasonable man, most likely it won't come to this. When the police want to arrest someone, if the person is not violent and is not a possibility of justice, they invite the person. That's what they are ready. Rambo's high, and rightly so, because he is the one sitting in his the person should be arrested because he's what? He's a Goliath himself. I don't understand. All this talk, irresponsible talk, you should say. Now you are saying what? He said the president should be afraid of you because you help deal with it. They will not deal with you like a normal person because of your utterances, irresponsible utterances. They look at all that. Who should feel for you? You sit on TV and say you have money, you have this, you have that, you've done. I can't even go into all the other things he's done and said. Now the chickens have come to roost. That's what it is. You say what?
And so you will say that the MPP should simply leave, go home, and allow due process to work?
Look, that's the only thing left because it's past work hours and people have gone home. So this is not something you just take, you sit down and just amend yourself. How is that? If they made the law, don't they know how it's supposed to be changed? It is the court that will change it. The courts are closed. You can appeal to a judge to show up at the hours. Well, that's up. You see, it's up to in an emergency situation. So they should know the law that they make. People go through this. You said the previous excuse that there is arrest. Nobody does anything. Now they arrest the chairman. Everybody should come to his aid. Also, did we tell him to do the things he's been charged with? It has not been proven. But that is part of the process. You've been charged with that. With that? No. So I don't know what to tell you.
Well, I guess we'll leave it here and wait for them to see their next line of action. But for now, they are still holding their grounds at the EOCO head office. Dr. Bakuwa, thank you so much for your time this evening here on the extended edition of The Pulse. We are still coming to you live from the EOCO head office. As you can see on your screen, the MPP minority MPs led by the leader, Alexander Afenyo-Markin, and the other leadership, Frank Ganadompre, the whip, the deputy minority leader, Patricia Piaget, and of course the other whips are all there together with some members of the minority side. They walked all the way from Parliament House to the EOCO office. Amongst others, they are demanding that the bill condition of 50 million Ghana cedis plus 2 sureties to be justified are varied, if you like, because it is too much for Mr. Wontumi to meet. Mr. Wontumi, we are told, has met part of it, but yet to fully comply with the dictates of the bill condition. He's currently receiving medical care at a hospital. His lawyers say that they are still working so hard to meet the other part of the condition so that he can have his temporary freedom, and then the matter will take a life of its own from there on. But what you see are members of the minority. In fact, some have come with chairs, meaning that they intend to spend longer hours there. They are being prevented from accessing the main building by the police, and then hopefully get some answers. We are also told that the executive director of EOCO, Mr. Rimonacha, is not available. His deputies are also not available. So there's no leadership at EOCO to even respond to them. And since they've been here from 3 p.m. up until now, they have not spoken to any leadership of EOCO. They've only spoken to the police. And the police, as you can see, are only there to protect life and property. And so the answers that they are demanding cannot, as of now, they've not been able to get answers to the many questions that they've asked. They've held 2 separate news conferences, one by the minority leader and the other, the minority chief with Frank Ganadompre. They see what is happening as persecution and not prosecution. They think that this is political, vendetta, if you like, at play because of the role Wontumi played in the previous elections. As you can see there, Frank Ganadompre, the minority chief whip, together with the minority deputy leader, Patricia Piaget, the minority leader himself, Alexander Afenyo-Markin, and other members of the minority side in Parliament. Before coming here, they made it clear that they will not participate in any business on the floor until their demands are met. And the demand is that the bill condition is varied, it's more flexible, so that Wontumi can meet them and then have his freedom. It is also unclear the exact charge against Wontumi, even though we are told that the charge relates to causing financial loss to the state. It relates to a transaction that may have taken place some time back between Mr. Wontumi's company and Exim Bank. Remember that before being arrested by EOCO, Wontumi actually met officials of CID relating to another set of charges against him, relating to illegal mining, one, polluting water bodies, and also entering a forest reserve without authorization and also undertaking mining without the requisite licenses. 3 cases against him and his company, Akunta Mines. That matter is being handled by the police CID, and he's on bail on that particular matter. And then after appearing before the police CID on Tuesday, whilst going home, he was picked up by officials from EOCO, and that has been the story up until now, as you can see on the screens there. This is Joy News. We're also live on Joy Prime. Let's take a short break here and return with more.